A shop owner in the Middle East believes his store is haunted by a ghost. For months, he's been experiencing things he can't explain. He claims to have heard disembodied voices, seen doors opening and closing all on their own, and even caught sight of shadowy figures in the corner of his eye. But despite all of this, he's never managed to capture any of the paranormal activity on camera until now. It was the middle of the night, long after the store had closed for the day and the owner had gone home. The building was empty, but the CCTV cameras suddenly captured something that left the shop owner convinced that he's not alone in that store. A dark figure moves past the cameras. It looks almost like the silhouette of a person, but something about it feels wrong. The edges are blurry and distinct, making it impossible to determine exactly what it is. Some skeptical viewers suggested it could be something simple like a bug crawling across the lens or a shadow cast from outside, but others believe the shop owner, he thinks this is one of the shadowy figures he's been seeing lurking in the edges of his vision, finally caught on camera, proving he's not imagining things. So, is this paranormal evidence or just a trick of the camera? You tell me. Megan doesn't usually post much on social media, but something that happened 6 years ago has been playing on her mind, leading her to finally post about it in the hopes of getting some answers. 6 years ago, Megan's brother was about to get married. The night before, she and a few of his friends and family gathered at his apartment for a few drinks. They stayed up late, watching movies. Eventually, it was only Megan and her brother left in the living room. Everyone else had gone to bed. Megan's brother soon fell asleep. With his glass still in his hand, Megan thought it would be funny if she recorded him and showed him in the morning. However, when she showed the video to him, her brother spotted something that sent chills down his spine. Something dark can be seen in the corridor. It's there for just a second and then it's gone. Whatever it was, it looked unsettlingly human, but something felt off about it. Megan and her brother asked everyone who was in the apartment if they'd got up during the night and if this could be one of them, but everyone said they'd stayed in bed until the following morning. Megan has held onto this strange footage for 6 years, but it's haunted her the entire time. After posting it on social media, many viewers asked for more details, so Megan posted another video explaining that her brother's apartment had always seemed haunted even before she recorded the creepy video.
At one point they had 2 people living with them, some family members of hers, and they would be like, it would only be one person at home, and all of them, it happened to all of them, where they would hear somebody calling their name, but like nobody else was home.
Viewers can't help but feel that what Megan is describing sounds a lot like a mimic. A mimic is a kind of paranormal entity that copies human voices, appearances, and behaviour in order to feed off our fear. Multiple viewers commented that they had experienced very similar activities in their homes, leading them to believe Megan's brother was being haunted by a mimic. But what do you think? Did Megan really catch a ghost on camera? Back in 2023, Antonio Park decided to explore an abandoned hospital in Lima, Peru. The building is located deep in a forgotten part of the woods, with no one around for miles. Antonio and a friend are walking through the dark, dusty corridors. Then, through the window of a locked door, they spot movement. Antonio squints through the darkness, trying to make out what's inside, but he can't see clearly, so he pulls out his phone, shines the flashlight through the window, and hits record.
Oye, Iván, te lo juro que yo... Mira, en la esquina derecha, ven los ojos. ¿Qué mierda? Oye, qué madre. Oye, la mierda. Cuerpo. ¿Qué es esa mierda? No sé, huevón, mi cuerpo está aquí. Ay, concha su madre. A la mierda. Oye, ¿qué es eso, huevón? Sí, huevón.
Ya deja de grabar, concha.
Oye, ¿qué es eso, hermano? ¿Qué es eso?
Picante esa weá.
¿Qué hago?
Antonio spots something that looks disturbingly like a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him from inside the room, as if someone or something is hiding in there. Antonio and his friend didn't stick around to find out what it was. They left the hospital immediately after capturing the footage. So, whatever was behind that locked door is still there, waiting in the darkness. And if you thought something lurking in an abandoned hospital was creepy, just wait until you see what happens in this next clip. Sometimes, the creepiest things aren't ghosts or anything paranormal, but the unknown horrors that lurk in the dark. Chomet, a young woman from the Philippines, recently found this out the hard way. Chomet and a group of her friends took a trip to the countryside for a few days. At first, the trip was everything they hoped for. They hiked through mountain trails and enjoyed their time away from the city. But one day, while swimming through a stream in a forest, they came across an old tunnel. Chomet suggested they start recording and take a look inside to see where the tunnel went. It was dark inside and immediately unsettled Chomet and her friends. However, they only planned to go a short way in before heading back out. Little did they know, something was already lurking just inside. As Chomet wades into the tunnel, she suddenly notices something in the shadows. A pair of glowing eyes can be seen near the water's surface, and viewers say they look disturbingly like the eyes of something watching Chomet and her friends. The girls immediately take fright and hurry back out of the tunnel. They retreat to a safe distance and wait for several minutes to see if anyone or anything comes out of the tunnel. But nothing does. Whatever that thing was, it remained inside the tunnel, lurking in the shadows. Chomet can't forget what she saw that day and has since come to believe that she and her friends encountered some kind of cryptid or supernatural creature inside that mysterious tunnel. But what do you think this is? Drop a comment and let me know. Gorman Sujan, I think that's how you pronounce it, is a YouTube channel owned by a man from Bangladesh. Sujan's channel is full of videos showing him trying new kinds of food and travelling to interesting locations around his country. However, 9 years ago, Sujan was recording a tour of his new apartment when he accidentally caught something he couldn't explain on camera. Did you see it? Something seems to be hovering, suspended in the air. Many viewers have said it resembles a person dressed in white, with long dark hair covering their face. When Sujan uploaded the clip to his YouTube channel, he titled it "Real Ghost Caught on Camera," suggesting that he's convinced he caught something truly paranormal on camera that day. Spooky. Natalie Hopkins runs a social media account dedicated to investigating the paranormal, and recently she visited the Ross House in Bel Air, Ohio. The house was built back in 1895 near the banks of the Ohio River and the B&O Railroad, the oldest railroad in the United States. Over the years, the Ross House has gained a reputation for being extremely haunted. The house operates as a tourist attraction for people interested in the paranormal. Natalie decides to explore the basement, where the paranormal activity is said to be the strongest. She's down there with a few friends, hoping to capture evidence of ghosts. And then, something happens that leaves them all stunned.
Could you give us a sign if anyone is here? Maybe one of the balls, light them up.
Just after one of Natalie's friends asks if there are any spirits present, and if they could give them a sign, the back of Natalie's sweater mysteriously moves, as if something grabbed it and pulled it. Natalie immediately feels it, spinning around to see what touched her, but there's nothing there. Natalie later uploaded the footage to her social media, calling the video "Spirit Caught on Camera." Clearly, she believes something paranormal was at play here. But what do you think happened to Natalie? Did a spirit pull on her top? Let me know. A clip shared to Facebook by Dennis Colosito has been going viral lately. The CCTV camera was placed on the side of a building next to a school located in Tolosa, a town in the Philippines. It was the middle of the night, and the school had long since shut its doors and locked its gates. There shouldn't be anybody around, but the CCTV camera recorded this.
First time ni mo nakakita ka kay ba?
Ikaw dili sige na ha.
Ikaduha ini.
Asa yung first name mo?
High school lang.
Katong sa sige, wala.
Online tan. Dapat 5.
A shadow was caught by the security camera. It seemed to run back and forth before vanishing into the night. What's even stranger is that after the shadow disappears from view, the lights in the school's window start to turn on and off. Dennis, the man who uploaded the clip, has no explanation for what the CCTV camera captured that night. Part of him hopes that it was just a simple case of some local kids messing around, but the other part of him can't help feeling that the shadow was paranormal. He's heard stories of a small boy who tragically passed away in the school, and Dennis wonders if this shadow was that boy's ghost. And if that wasn't creepy enough, this next clip features more evidence of ghosts haunting schools. Graveyards and cemeteries are understandably believed to be incredibly haunted places, but it's usually only at night that people feel afraid to enter them. For this reason, Alexander Gabetti from Vicaria, Brazil, felt no reason to be scared when visiting a family member's grave during the day. However, from the moment he entered the cemetery, he felt a mysterious sense of dread, as if something horrible was about to happen. He tried his best to ignore the feeling and visited the grave as planned, but just as he was about to leave, he spotted something in the corner of his vision, something that shouldn't have been there. Creeped out, Alexander pulled out his phone and started recording. Alexander sees what looks like a pale face staring out at him. Initially, he tries to convince himself that it's just a person who accidentally got locked inside. But if this was the case, he believes they would have called out and asked for help. Whoever or whatever this is just stares silently. Creeped out, Alexander quickly leaves the cemetery and shares the footage to his social media, hoping to to get some answers. Many people think that the face could belong to a ghost, perhaps someone who is buried inside the crypt. Even if there is another way to explain this spooky footage, the idea that a ghost was watching him from the shadows is something Alexander will probably never forget. Tad Gavin is a young man living in Florida with a passion for sports cars. His social media is full of photos of his Corvette. But back in December 2025, he caught something spooky on camera. It was late at night and Tad was driving on an empty stretch of road. He was slowing down, thinking about stopping to take a picture of his car, but then he saw something up ahead that made his heart drop.
What the was that? Oh my god!
A dark figure on the road makes Tad suddenly accelerate to get away. He has no idea who or what it was, but according to him, the figure was wearing a long black coat with its hood up. The figure is difficult to see on the dashcam footage, but is a little bit more clear from the camera inside the car. A dark figure seems to approach the car, leaving Tad no choice but to speed up and escape. At first, he thought it might have been someone trying to damage or steal his car. Many think the dark figure could have been a ghost or some other kind of malevolent paranormal entity, but Tad still isn't sure what to believe. So, what do you think? Let me know. Lacey, a woman from the United States, received a concerning video from her sister one night. The video was a recording that Lacey's sister had just made. In it, she and her daughter, Lacey's niece, were showing off the lights they had installed in the backyard pool. Lacey explains that her niece had been wanting to swim at night, but had been hesitant to enter the pool in the dark. At first, it seemed that she was just afraid of the dark, but now Lacey can't help thinking that there might have been a good reason for her niece's fears, because while watching the video, Lacey noticed something deeply unsettling.
He's out here so I could change the colors. You might be able to do it on the phone. Oh, that looks so cool in there above.
According to Lacey's sister, no one else was in the backyard at the time the footage was captured, except for her and Lacey's niece. But someone or something was recorded passing in front of Lacey's niece. Strangely, neither she nor Lacey's sister seem to notice it. Lacey immediately saw the figure, which appeared to move quickly and look almost see-through. Creeped out, Lacey texted her sister back and told her what she had seen. However, she was unable to come up with an explanation for the see-through figure. This has led many viewers to speculate that what Lacey's sister accidentally caught on camera was a ghost. But what's your verdict? Is this a ghost, or do you have another explanation? A man claims his home is haunted. For some time, Dan has been experiencing bizarre poltergeist-like activity in and around his home. And whenever anything strange happens, Dan hits the record button on his phone. But for some weird reason, the recording's never actually saved. And Dan has no idea why that is. One morning, when Dan walks into his kitchen, he discovers that all of his kitchen cabinets are wide open. But the strange thing is, he remembers closing them the night before. So, how were they open? Spooked by this, Dan grabs his phone and hits record.
I'm really scared right now. Just want to shut all these. I figured I'd get it on camera so if something happens, at least it's documented. I think I'm just gonna go downstairs and chill out and edit for a little while. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. upload this. I gotta upload this before anything happens. And nobody gets to see this. Ow. Okay. I think I broke my ankle.
What makes this recording even creepier is that whenever Dan tried to record the creepy activity in the past, the recordings never saved before he had a chance to show anyone. However, this time, Dan manages to upload the footage to his YouTube channel. He desperately asked viewers to explain what was going on. Many think Dan is being haunted by a poltergeist. These paranormal entities are known for interacting with physical objects and are often thought to deliberately mess with people to feed on their fear. Perhaps that explains why the video files never saved, or perhaps were mysteriously deleted. Whatever was haunting Dan didn't want to be caught on camera and didn't want anyone to know what was going on. US 4.4 Life is a social media channel run by a mother of two from California. She usually posts content about everyday life in Long Beach, including tips on where to go for a day out with the kids or the best local shopping areas. But recently, she uploaded something very different. She explains that she's lived in her current home for 3 years, but very rarely goes up into the attic. It's difficult to access, requiring a ladder and crawling through a small door. Since it's empty, she decides to record a video of herself turning it into a storage room, but nothing goes to plan.
So I have this little room up in my attic, and I want to show you guys what I found in here. But first, look at this. I've been up here 2 times. I've lived in this house for 3 years, and I've been here. This will be my 2nd time. And I started doing some picking up, but that's my house down there. And this is, so if you close the door, look how tiny it is. But look at the doorknob. It's literally a foot away from the ground. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Okay, so anyways, let me just open that up real quick. I found this little guy up here. He has like a little thing to put batteries, which I'm going to try and see if it works. That'll be so cool, but it's so old and dusty. And I found him back here in this hole. I covered it back up because it's a little scary, but it's full of things. Oh, what was that?
She starts exploring the attic room, recording its strange quirks for her viewers to see. As she's recording, she points the camera towards a large square hole in the wall. It's covered by cardboard, so she moves it aside and peers in. At first, we see nothing but darkness, but then there appears to be a small illuminated hole in the attic floor, and something is moving around. Creeped out, she immediately stopped recording and leaves the attic, but her viewers were hooked and wanted answers. So a few days later, she goes back up to investigate further.
All right, guys, real quick. This is the hole that leads up to the attic, that leads to the room that goes this way. So once you go up to the attic, the door is right here, and then the big room is here. And I don't have a drop down, so I've been using this 6-foot ladder to go up there. And I have to climb my way up the last half because I don't have a long enough ladder. But the intention was to go up there to put these things and use that as a closet upstairs. But anywho, let me show you that there's no holes on the ceilings real quick. So that's one. This is a room, and there's no holes up there, just this big hole that leads up to the attic. And then the living room, there's no holes. Okay, there's a room, there's a hole there, but that's a vent, so I mean it's you can't really see what was seen on the previous video. Plus I was by myself, there was nobody in here, there was nobody walking around. This is the closet, and then there's one more. Let me show you guys. This is another room. Again, no holes in the ceilings. Another vent, but no like visible holes that you could see through. And then the closet, no holes. But there is a weird little door again. I don't know what's up with the weird little doors. That one's sealed. You can't open it. It's sealed. Let's go upstairs. We're up here already, and I got to the room, and I want to show you guys. I cleaned up a little bit, but to answer some of your questions, someone asked, what does this window lead to right next to the door? And I don't know. It's sealed, and there's like, yeah, it's just covered with siding. And then how did the furniture get up here? I'm assuming somebody built this up here. However, I don't know how this chair got up here. It's pretty big. I'm assuming right before they built the room, maybe they put it up here. I don't know. And then for the hole, there, as you can see, there's electricity. Oh, something else. These cables, these were all plugged in, and they go this way. Let me grab this light so I can show you guys. But let me go here. 1 second, because oh god. So the wires go all the way in here, and they're connected to something. There's more trash on this side of the house. See? Okay, so that's that side, right? The left side, but the right side. Let's go take a look at the right side real quick. It's so hot in here. Oh boy. Okay. So there's no mirrors. I know you guys were saying, oh, there's a mirror. There's no mirror. No holes. Just trash.
She walks around the house, showing that there are no holes in the ceiling below. Then she goes back upstairs, checking the attic floor. However, there are no visible holes anywhere. So, what exactly is this? Viewers offered several theories in the comments, each more terrifying than the last. Some think someone was living in her attic, and when she came back to record the second video, they covered the hole and went to hide. Others believe it's something paranormal, something that exists in the attic, but can't be explained. The young mother is understandably too scared to go back up into the attic, so we may never find out what was lurking up there. The border between Syria and Jordan is a highly secure area between two volatile nations. For this reason, it's monitored by sophisticated military drones at all times. The drones are meant to survey the border for any unauthorized crossings or military aggression, but back in 2021, a drone captured something totally unexpected. The drone footage appears to show an object flying around above the border. It's circular in shape and bright, easily showing up on the infrared cameras. Journalist Jeremy Corbell released this footage in early 2026. He then had it analysed by experts around the world. One expert, Marek von Rennenkampf, who was an analyst at the US Bureau for International Security, said that it was the most extraordinary footage he'd ever seen. It seems to exhibit signs of instantaneous acceleration, meaning it suddenly speeds up and slows down in an unpredictable way, as if something or someone is controlling it. It also doesn't look like any kind of plane or military drone that we know of, which leads Corbell and von Rennenkampf to believe the footage is a UAP, or an unidentified anomalous phenomenon, maybe of extraterrestrial origin. And this next clip shows something eerily similar. A man in Mexico claims his home is haunted by an evil spirit. When he first moved into the house, he said he quickly began to feel a strange sense of dread, almost like he was being watched. However, the man lives alone, and he's never been able to find any evidence that anyone or anything has been in his home with him. That is, until now. The man was relaxing at home when he suddenly started to feel that same sense of dread. He grabbed his phone and hit record just in case something happened. While recording, he realised he'd forgotten to lock his front door. Fearing there might be someone or something outside, he quickly got up to lock it, and that's when he saw this. appears to be a pale face can be seen through the darkness, lurking just on the other side of the door. Horrified, the man immediately locks it and runs further into the house. He calls the police and reports the intruder, but when they arrive, there's no one there. The man accepts that whoever it was might simply have walked away before they could be discovered, but deep down, he thinks whoever or whatever this was, it wasn't human. He thinks it was the evil spirit that has been haunting him ever since he moved into his home. And he isn't the only one who thinks he may live in a haunted house. You'll see what I mean in this next clip. Cryptids aren't the only paranormal entities that are said to lurk in remote places. Ghosts, spirits, and demons are also believed to inhabit dark, isolated locations. A group of friends claim that they encountered a number of mysterious entities while out on a hike in the wilderness. The friends had set out early in the day, but lost their way and ended up walking in the dark. Fortunately, they had brought cameras and flashlights. While trying to find their way back to their car, the friends heard some strange noises. They didn't sound like any animal they had heard before, so they started recording, just in case something happened. And what they captured on camera has left viewers creeped out. Something white can be seen in the footage. Initially, it's totally still, but then as the friends approach, it seems to take off into the sky. Strangely, it leaves some kind of trail behind it, but that's far from the scariest thing the friends would catch on camera that night. Something appears to peek out at the friends before it quickly hides away, disappearing from view. Due to the darkness, they didn't notice anything at the time, but the friends can't help feeling like they're being watched. By this point, the friends are all creeped out, but they were about to capture their scariest piece of footage yet.
محمد به خدا یه چیزی دیدم. به خدا یه چیزی سرک کشید محمد پشت.
Yet again, something can be seen peeking out from behind a rock. This time, the friends notice it, and although it quickly hides away, it can be very clearly seen on camera. The friends believe it looks like some kind of demon, and some viewers think it could be a cryptid, but whatever the friends caught on camera that night remains a mystery. Sandy is a young woman living in the USA who believes she captured a case of demonic possession on camera. Sandy regularly attends a Catholic church in Greensboro, North Carolina. The atmosphere inside is usually calm and peaceful, but one day she witnessed something that sent chills down her spine. Sandy had just walked into the church when she heard screams coming from inside. Horrified, she went to find out what was happening. She saw a man near the altar at the front of the church, hunched over and crying out as if he was in agony. Before she could get any closer to him, someone stopped her. They told her that the man was possessed and had come to the church to be exorcised. Sandy watched in horrified curiosity and shakily began to record as the exorcism began. Screams and hisses. He then has holy water poured on him and can be seen reacting to it. After a few moments, the priest arrives and begins exorcising the demon the man is believed to be possessed by. man's screams grow louder as the priest begins the exorcism. However, within minutes, the man seems to calm down. When he returned to normal, he claimed that he was possessed by a demon and that the only way he'd been able to overcome it was to go to the church and get exorcised by the priest. After witnessing the exorcism, Sandy spoke to the man and got his permission to share the footage to her social media. Viewers were struck by the rawness of the footage and especially commented on how realistic the man's screams were. But what do you think is going on here? Was this man really possessed? Drop a comment and let me know. Angela Whammy is a personal trainer from the United States. She usually doesn't post much on social media, and when she does, it has absolutely nothing to do with ghosts or the paranormal. However, Angela's home security camera recently recorded something that left her terrified that her home was haunted. She uploaded the footage to her social media account, explaining that it was captured while she was home alone with her baby. It was around 10 PM, and she suddenly received a notification from her security camera. It alerted her that someone had been detected outside. At first, she thought it was her husband coming home from a late shift at work, but when he didn't show up, Angela decided to check the camera app to find out what was going on, and what she saw sent a chill down her spine. Angela thinks that what her security camera captured is the ghost of a girl standing inside her house. She appears to be looking through the sliding doors, and then she fades away, disappearing into the darkness. When she posted the clip to social media, viewers began to speculate. Some agreed with Angela that this looks like the ghost of a girl standing on the other side of the glass door. Others argued that there was nothing there and that this was a simple case of pareidolia. However, Angela would go on to record an update that would make the clip seem even creepier.
So this is the area, the door that it was like standing inside. We don't have anything or keep anything in this area because it's a walkway and it would be really awkward. And then this is where the security camera is. So when I looked at the footage, I expected to see a person. I didn't expect to see that though.
Angela attempts to recreate the footage captured by her security camera. However, she demonstrates that on camera, she is barely visible when she closes the sliding glass door. If someone was standing at the door, looking outside, the camera probably wouldn't have sensed them at all, which suggests that whatever was recorded by the security camera wasn't human. Angela believes that a ghost was caught on camera that night, but what the ghost wants and why it was in Angela's home is a mystery. Graveyards are considered some of the most haunted places in the world, which makes sense. They're where the deceased are laid to rest, where the boundary between the living and the dead feels thinnest. People often report seeing ghosts floating among the tombstones, hearing unexplained sounds, even during the day. At night, most people wouldn't dare set foot in a cemetery, but Botat, an Indonesian paranormal investigator, wanted to find out if cemeteries are truly as haunted as people claim. So he decided to visit one late at night. He sets up his phone to live stream, positioning the camera so his viewers can watch in real time. Then he sits, waiting to see if anything paranormal will happen, and to his horror, he recorded this.
Bisa, ini dekat, kan violet. Mana dia, coy? Tadi kau begitu hidup dan serung itu. Kau bilang serung itu.
something that looks like a figure dressed in white slowly comes into view right behind Botak. Botak has no idea anything is behind him, but his viewers, who are watching live, notice it immediately and flood the chat with warnings. But by the time Botak realizes what they're saying, the figure who was seen live has already disappeared into thin air. Since the footage was captured in a supposedly haunted cemetery in Indonesia, many of Botak's viewers believe he encountered a kuntilanak. In Indonesian folklore, a kuntilanak is a vengeful spirit of a woman searching for her child who tragically passed away, and based on what Botak's camera captured that night live on his stream, he thinks his viewers are right. Creepy. Billy Kryzak uses professional camera equipment to capture potential evidence of UAPs and UFOs. In early 2026, he caught what he says is some of the clearest evidence of a UAP. He then shared the footage to social media, where it went viral.
With my A7R5 with the Ninja 5 on the top, recording in ProRes RAW through a 1200mm lens. So this is basically, I'm using a telescope for this at extremely high bitrate levels and zero compression on the footage. So this is about as clean as I'm going to be able to get with what I have. So what is it? It looks like a bar of light. Like, it literally just looks like a bar of light, and to your eye it looks a little different than it does that's captured by the camera. I don't know why that's the case, but I stood there with binoculars and I was watching them fly around, and it looks pearlescent, right? It's a pearlescent white light. Yeah, so I've seen these things do very different behaviors and their flight characteristics. Sometimes they're flying, the bar is kind of like going straight like this, and it will actually turn, and the bar itself will be on the perpendicular, or not parallel to its movement, right? So it's actually flat to its movement. Other times I've seen them rotating and tumbling. Other times they just kind of turn into like a flashing spot, right? But in the end, they always turn into...
The object Kryzak captures on camera is bar-shaped and gives off a strange pearlescent light. Kryzak, who has expert knowledge of physics in aviation, noticed the strange flight patterns of the object. This, and the physical appearance of the object, makes him think it's a UAP, possibly a vessel from outer space. And its strange behaviour and appearance aren't the only things that led Kryzak to think this.
On thermal, they just look like a blob, right? You don't see the detail of the bar. It looks like a circle, spherical object.
Kryzak explains that he's seen objects like this one more than once. He even saw them through his thermal camera during the day. Kryzak is reluctant to speculate about what exactly these objects are, but many of his viewers think they could be alien ships, just like the UAP at the Syria-Jordan border is speculated to be. So what exactly are these UAPs doing in our skies? Well, I'll leave you to discuss that in the comments. Places with very deep history are often associated with ghosts and other kinds of paranormal entities. Reddit user Wordless-Chorus123 believes their aunt's rural home is one of these places. According to the OP, the house is near Mount Vernon in Georgia, United States. It's an area steeped in Civil War history and indigenous history before that. One evening, the OP's aunt took a picture of the sunset outside her house. She was alone, or so she thought. When she showed the photo to the OP, someone or something else appeared to have been there. Standing on the porch, partially obscured by shadows, is what appears to be a figure. It looks like a man dressed in dark clothing, positioned just inside the shadows, and once you see it, it's impossible to unsee. What makes this image so disturbing is that the aunt insists she was completely alone when this photo was taken. The porch was brand new. There was nothing stored there, no furniture, no objects that could cast such a shape. To prove this, the family posted a comparison photo showing the same porch on a different day. The porch is completely empty, confirming there was nothing there that could explain this figure. Intrigued, the family began researching the history of the land. They discovered that it was part of Creek Nation territory before settlers arrived in the late 1770s. They even found out that the house is surrounded by unmarked burial grounds. The OP says their aunt never experienced anything creepy in or around the house, but other members of the family report feeling like something was off, especially out in the front yard and on the porch. That leaves the OP wondering, could their aunt's home be haunted? It is often said that animals are more sensitive to paranormal activity than humans. For this reason, many people believe their pets can sense when ghosts and spirits are present. This is exactly what one family believes is happening with their pet dog. Their dog, usually quiet and relaxed, started acting strangely, as if it were scared of something only it could see. Unsure what else to do, the dog's owners checked their security footage to see if they could spot anything that might explain its behaviour. What they discovered left them convinced their home was haunted. A small, glowing orb floats across the room. The family is completely unaware, but the dog senses it and bolts as it gets closer. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, the orb seems to move erratically, almost as if something is controlling it. Some viewers might assume it's just a flying insect, but that wouldn't explain why the dog reacted as if it were terrified. Orbs are often linked to ghosts and spirits, so maybe that's exactly what spooked the dog. A few nights later, another security camera, this time in the backyard, caught even more strange activity. At first, the owners assumed it was just a family member, but then they realised no one was even home when the footage was recorded. So who or what is this? Could the dog be barking at a ghost trying to get into the house? Or is there a more logical explanation for this mysterious footage? 18 years ago, Guy Terry uploaded a video to his personal YouTube channel. It was one of the earliest videos he posted, but it recently caught the attention of paranormal enthusiasts who think Guy captured a ghost on camera. The footage was meant to be nothing more than a fun video with his siblings. They planned to send it to a family member who was celebrating their birthday, but as they recorded, things took a much darker turn.
Zum Geburtstag alles Gute, zum Geburtstag viel Glück. Alles Liebe zum Geburtstag, Mama.
Something appears in the mirror behind Guy and his siblings. Then it disappears from view and the mirror falls from the wall. Creeped out by what happened, Guy checked the footage and saw that something had been reflected in the mirror just before it fell. He uploaded the clip to his YouTube channel, hoping that someone might be able to give him some answers. But what happened that day remains a mystery. Even though 18 years have passed, some think that Guy accidentally caught a ghost on camera. One that couldn't be seen with the naked eye, but showed up in the reflection of the mirror. But what do you think? Is this a ghost? Or is there some other way to explain this? On New Year's Eve 2025, Carmen and her toddler were fast asleep at home. Everything seemed normal until Carmen was suddenly jolted awake by a loud notification from her phone. It was a notification from her security camera. According to the camera app, there was someone in her backyard. Carmen says this immediately seemed strange to her. Her yard is surrounded by a 6-foot high fence, so anybody trying to get in would have a hard time getting over the fence. Freaked out, concerned, Carmen opened the camera app and was horrified to see this. A pale, see-through figure can be seen moving through Carmen's backyard, caught by her security camera. Considering the height of the 6-foot fence around the yard, the figure looks unnaturally tall. Carmen knew right away that something was very wrong about the figure, so she hurried to her window to check outside, but there was no one there. Whoever or whatever had been in her yard just moments before had vanished into thin air. Carmen believes that what her security camera caught that night must have been something paranormal, and she's not the only one who reports capturing some strange activity on a security camera, as you're about to see in this next clip. A group of teenagers were on a school trip, travelling through remote countryside on an adventure bus that bumps along a dirt road. They are laughing and joking. Some of them are recording videos on their phones, but unbeknown to them, something was lurking outside, and it was captured on camera. The bus has an interesting feature. It's ex-military, meaning that the driver's seat is separated from the passenger seats by a thick metal wall. So, to offer the passengers a view of what's happening out front, a camera is mounted on the bonnet to record. The camera feed then displays on a large screen at the front of the bus. It shows them the road ahead in real time, and as the bus bounces along the uneven road, something unexpected appears on that screen. A figure appears to cross the road directly in front of the bus. None of the teenagers notice it in the moment because it's only visible for a split second before vanishing from view. It's not until days later, when a group of them rewatch the footage together, that they notice anything out of the ordinary, leading them to post the clip online. Some viewers speculate that the bus camera accidentally captured something paranormal, perhaps a ghost gliding across the isolated country road. Others suggest it could be a glitch, a digital artifact, or even just a trick of light and motion. But what do you think? Could this strange footage be explained logically, or is this genuine paranormal evidence caught on camera?